Pig killer. Okay, I don't believe any pigs were harmed in this movie, but I guess the film will have to live up to that, whether they did or not. There is some other killing, and that's what we're here for. So, what is this story about? IMDb time. Inspired by the terrifying story of Robert Willy Pickton, the pig farmer and prolific killer of women whose horrific crimes shocked the world. Okay. Um, I will say that I've tried to be into true crime and stuff like this, and this guy has evaded me. So I don't know much of him. I wish I knew a little bit more about his story before watching this movie. But this is just a movie. This is just a regular movie. This is not going to be kind of a true crime mystery of this guy. It's more of a movie. I know we've kind of seen some true crime stuff. You see some documentaries, and then you have movies. So this is more of just a regular movie based on this story. So I don't know much about him, and how true this movie is to what he did or didn't do. So that I can't do for you guys. I will kind of discuss the movie. I will get it off the top here. I was sent a screener for this one. So we'll try to keep this spoiler free. I don't know that there's too many twists and turns here to kind of spoil, as it is kind of more like a slasher movie as it is. So, I don't know that I'm going to be spoiling anything here. But yeah, it is, I forget his name all the time. Yeah, Jake Busey, wanted to get the right one. He basically stars as the killer here, and he's probably cast in a good role here. He kind of seems a little off and fitting in this kind of character. So he definitely does a good job here, and the movie definitely, I'm going to say, starts off well as you kind of see basically his first victim, and I'm going to say I kind of enjoyed that. It is, they're not in a hurry. They take their time with it, but you kind of see what he does. He kind of picks up somebody, and I guess that's the thing the real killer did. I guess he took up either prostitutes or escorts, or I guess that was who he was after, and brought them back to his farm, and proceeded to mutilate them and feed it to some pigs. And he has a giant pig in this movie, and I forget its name. But yeah, the pig is along for fun. So again, as far as I know, no pigs are harmed in the movie. Pigs are doing the harm, or at least cleaning up the harm here. So that's kind of the fun of it, and you kind of see that early on. And I would say if it kind of continued more in that, I probably would have enjoyed it maybe a little bit more. But then as it goes on, it starts kind of, trying to pull in different storylines and pulling in different characters, and kind of leading you to this big scene at the end where they're kind of having this get-together party, whatever you want to call it, on the farm, where they're inviting other bikers and local people, and definitely other escorts and whatever, and they're kind of leading that way. And then there's also a side story of them trying to keep the farm. It's worth a lot of money. There's Willy, and then there's his brother, and they're trying to I guess fight over the farm, and then there's other things kind of involved. And kind of when it kind of goes in those kind of directions, I kind of got lost, and it was like, no, I'd rather see him just go and bring these women back and kill them, kind of like what we just did in the open. But it kind of gets sidetracked here or there, and then of course they bringing in the one main girl who is she going to be the final girl or not? I guess that's the best way to say it. And we're kind of leading her down the path of getting caught, getting on the farm, and then is she going to escape? So I think it kind of loses a little bit of path, as we go down the road. Maybe they wanted to do something different. Again, this is not necessarily a slasher movie, even though it has, kind of almost feels like it, or you want it to be. But because he's kind of a normal guy, whatever. He does have a pig mask. They do that. That's fun. That's good. Um, and makes for some fun there. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're kind of getting hints of slasher, but it's not. So maybe that's why they tried to go into these other storylines. And I know they're trying to give a little background. Like I said, I don't know the background of this killer, so I don't know if they're really covering it well or not, or what they're doing there. But that is something that's happening as well. So I think that kind of interfered with at least what I wanted to see. Didn't make it bad, but that I'm always for the blood and guts. I don't know how many times I've said this recently, but so those are the parts of the movie I really enjoy. Kind of when they get into the other stuff, I maybe wasn't as interested. But yeah, it is. Again, if you know this guy's story, maybe it'll be a little more interesting. I didn't. So I don't know if they covered all the bases. Some serial killers, a little bit more about, so when it kind of rolls on, you kind of see, where it's going. But you kind of get the gist, the gist of it here for what he did. And they kind of go back a little bit, and you kind of see a little bit of why he might be the way he is. I will say that besides the blood and guts here, one of the better scenes in the movie is way at the end, and I guess it's almost post credits, and I'll just say that I don't want to give away, because then it might give away where this story ends up, and but it is a pretty hilarious scene and this hilarious moment. So when you get to kind of that post credit scene, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give any details because I don't want to spoil that or kind of tell you where the direction of this movie is going to go. But yeah, you're going to see some other, he's an interesting and obviously weird character. His brother is almost, probably a little bit more normal. You get there's a farmhand, and you almost root for him because he seems like he wants to do the right thing, but he never really gets the chance to. And then there's this other dude who, yeah, he's, besides the killer, you just don't like him. He's just a slimy dude. And, yeah, you would have wished he would have got the mutilation. But yeah, there's other interesting characters here as well. So, and I think you'll recognize some of the faces in this movie besides Jake Busey. So it is, the acting is not the problem in this movie. Like I said, maybe they just went to some places that I would have, rather than kind of stay on the killing track and all those other things, whatever. I know it's important because they're kind of trying to give you details of his life and so forth, but whatever. But yeah, it's all right. So with that, I think I'm just gonna get to the point, give it 3 pools of blood, and that's out of 5. Like I said, if you're kind of interested in the serial killers, maybe you haven't heard of them, kind of want to see something on them, kind of maybe pique your interest. I don't know if it's going to give you everything you want. Like I said, it's not a documentary. It's not totally true crime. So maybe after you watch this, you go elsewhere. Or maybe if you already know him and you watch this, then you can kind of make a better judge of how well they did covering him or not. So like I said, this is one serial killer I had no clue about. So everything that I saw here was kind of new. Although you kind of feel like we've had these other horror movies where people have fed their victims to pigs and other animals and so forth. So there's, I guess, that familiarity there. So again, that is going to be 3 pools of blood out of 5. And this one's just recently out. I believe I don't know if it was theaters or video on demand. I believe it's coming to Blu-ray soon. So plenty of ways for you guys to catch this if you haven't already, if not soon. So with that, horrorsgorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Certainly subscribe, like, and do all those things that everybody wants you to do. If not, no worries, no problem. It's truly okay. But please do me the favor and check out the shorts and try to have some fun there. Kind of giving you some fun, some information, courtesy of PromoteHorror.com, some of it. And Twitter, Facebook, still there. So if you're still there, feel free to hit me up there if you want me to review something, talk horror. Always down for talking horror, as you guys know. And comment section down below once you see this film. What are your thoughts? Do you know anything about this killer? You know, kind of where does he rank? Like I said, I don't know. So I'm not sure if they kind of just dug their way and found him, or he is more well known. I believe he's Canadian, so maybe that's why I kind of missed out on him. But either way, if you're familiar, kind of throw that in there as well. So with that, I guess I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.